Right, and welcome back. This is the third part of the series, and it's all about out of the boat practice. And this is all about practice you can do while you're off the water. Freestyle is pretty physical, so you're limited the amount of time you can actually spend doing it. Not to mention the seasonality of it in most places, and even the possibility of being injured. Finding ways to train when you can't train is hugely beneficial. So I'm going to describe a few different ways you can train while being off the water. Throughout this video, I'm going to talk about 5 different strategies that you can use to train while off the water. First is katas. Next is visualization, then mental schemas, then exemplars, and then cross-training. Starting off, we have katas. It's one of the most common on-the-bank coaching exercises. Katas is a Japanese word meaning form. It refers to detailed choreographed pattern of martial arts movements that you do while you're practicing martial arts. This concept was introduced to me by Jacko Jackson, who's still a major proponent of this technique. We can also use these detailed choreographed patterns to help us learn freestyle kayaking moves. Here are some things to consider while doing katas. So, this practice should be done in your kit, with your paddle, with your buoyancy aid, with your helmet, in your boat, with as much stuff as possible to make it as realistic as it can be. You don't always have to do it, but I recommend at a minimum of at least having your paddle in your hands. Or if you don't have your paddle with you, any long thing like a broom or anything will work. The next thing goes back to our deliberate practice keystones that we've been talking about. That's repetition. Because this isn't as physical as actually doing the trick, you can repeat it a lot. The next is feedback. You do need to get some feedback on this, because when you are repeating these katas over and over again, it can reinforce bad habits unless you're getting feedback on how to improve what you're doing. This can be through video review or coaching. Try doing the stuff at quarter speed, half speed, full speed. Try doing it at double speed. Vary the speeds because you can't really do that in a feature. Slow it down so you can understand it more. Speed it up so you can force yourself to flow through the movements faster. Then you have mirroring. This is where you do the exact same trick with the exact same kata, just on the other side. In the early days of learning a trick on your other side, this can be very helpful, as you can watch the video of your right side kata and then adapt your left side kata to match it. So, there's a few things to watch out for when doing katas. It's not the same as kayaking. You need feedback on what you're doing in your kata and how it relates to what you need to be doing in freestyle. Bartoz's book Freestyle Unlocked has some great links to YouTube videos showing you how to do this. It also has great details on how to do katas throughout the book. Now, katas are linked closely with our next part, which I'll be talking about in a moment. If you follow these tips, katas can be an extremely useful tool for training while off the water. They link very heavily with the deliberate practice that we talked about last episode and need to follow all those core principles of purposeful and focused effort, repetition and refinement, continuous feedback, and practice outside your comfort zone. And while you're doing it, make sure you're giving it your full attention and concentration. Our next out of the boat practice is visualization, also known as mental imagery. It is a powerful tool in sports psychology that has been shown to enhance athletic performance. A classic study in this field involved college basketball players and free throw practice. The study, conducted at the University of Chicago, divided players into 3 groups. One that physically practiced free throws for an hour a day. One that only visualized making free throws for an hour a day, and a controlled group that did no practice at all. After 30 days, the group that physically practiced free throws every day showed a 24% improvement in their free throw success rate. Surprisingly, the visualization group improved by 23%, nearly matching the physical practice group, while the control group showed no significant improvement. This study highlights the effectiveness of mental practice, demonstrating that visualization can lead to improvements in motor skills almost as significant as physical practice. The power of visualization lies in the ability to activate similar neural pathways as physical practice, reinforcing muscle memory and enhancing confidence. This technique has since widely been adopted across various sports, from gymnastics to golf, as a complement to physical training and a tool for performance enhancement. Some tips for doing visualization in freestyle kayaking. Create a mental feature. Visualize the specific wave or hole you'll be training in. Focus on details like the water, the flow, the shape of the wave, and any unique characteristics of the wave. Practice specifics of tricks. Focus on visualizing the individual parts of the tricks, paying attention to the body positioning, the boat angle, and the paddle strokes. Use props. Get the paddle in your hand while you're doing this. Similar to katas, except you're not actually moving. You're just going through the trick in your mind. Use multi-sensory visualization. Don't just see yourself doing the moves. Feel the water. Hear the sound of the water. Hear the sound of the boat slapping the green. Feel your body's movements. Try and make it as real as possible using your other senses. Visualize it from different perspectives. Imagine your performance both from your own point of view and if you're watching yourself from the shore, from the judge's tent. This can all extend beyond learning specific tricks or perfecting your ride. It can include problem solving. Visualize potential challenges, like a missed entry or unexpected water level, and how you'd adapt. Incorporate your pre-performance routines. Mentally rehearse your warm-up and preparation routines along with your on-the-water performance. Practice this regularly. Because it takes no effort, 5-10 minutes is very easy to do at any time of the day. Combine this stuff with relaxation techniques. Start your visualization sessions with deep breathing or progressive muscle relaxation for better focus. Another tip is to practice before you sleep. There is some research showing that this can help you reinforce skills even better, especially when you have skill-related dreams. Now, there are specific studies exploring the potential of lucid dreaming to enhance skill acquisition. Still a relatively new area of research, but some intriguing findings have emerged. I'll put a link in the description for you to have a look at if you're interested. As with the previous part, visualization requires all of the deliberate practice key points. As visualization can be done any time, if you have a spare 5 minutes, the repetition part of deliberate practice is easily achievable. It's important to use visualization to push yourself and your skill development to really get the full benefit of this technique. During the previous 2 sections, katas and visualization, what we are doing is developing something called mental schemas. Mental schemas are a fundamental concept in cognitive psychology. They play a crucial role in how we process and organize information. A little overview. Mental schema is a cognitive framework or concept that helps organize and interpret information. Schemas represent knowledge about a particular type of object, person, situation, or event. There are some key characteristics of mental schemas. Organization. Schemas help categorize information for more efficient processing. They influence our attention. They guide what we pay attention to in our environment. Memory. Schemas affect how we encode, store, and retrieve memories. And interpretation. They influence how we understand new information. Schemas develop through experience and can be modified over time. This process involves 2 parts. Assimilation, fitting new information into your existing schema. Accommodation, modifying schemas to incorporate new information that doesn't fit. This can be done with your in-the-boat practice. It can be done with your out-of-the-boat katas. It can be done with your out-of-the-boat visualization. All of it is very useful in improving your mental schemas around your individual tricks. However, it's not just your individual tricks that mental schemas are beneficial for. You can obviously have mental schemas for your technique, mental representations of the correct body positions and movements for various tricks. You can also have a schema for features, understanding how different types of waves or holes behave at various water levels. You can also have competition schemas. That's knowledge about how competition work, how the judges will score the tricks, how other people around you will behave around competition, how you will deal with those changes. The implications this has for your training are quite huge. You need to make sure that you are building accurate schemas. Proper instruction and practice helps develop correct mental representations of techniques. You need to make sure that you don't build on incorrect information, which can then be more difficult to unlearn or change your mental schemas to accommodate changes. You need to have schema flexibility. You need to have exposure to various conditions that help create adaptable schemas. See my previous video where I talked about differentiation, doing it in different features. This is part of that. Breaking incorrect schemas, I just mentioned it. Sometimes unlearning incorrect techniques requires consciously breaking down and rebuilding schemas. That does unfortunately mean sometimes if you're learning a trick and you've gone down the wrong path, you need to get worse at the trick visually before you can actually get better. And lastly, visualization. Mental practice with katas and visualization can reinforce and refine existing schemas. Now, with these methods, there are some potential pitfalls that I have fallen into and many others have as well that you need to be aware of. You have stereotyping. Over-reliance on schemas can lead to oversimplification. Mental schemas can become extremely complex and personalized. Some people will just present the most simplified version, which can lead to oversimplification. Prejudice. Schemas can lead to prejudice. Freestyle is just that. Free and style. There are usually many different ways to actually do a trick. Different styles based on a different paddler or a different feature. Just because one paddler does it one way does not mean you have to do it that way as well. You have confirmation bias. Schemas might cause us to ignore information that doesn't fit our existing beliefs. You need to be open to new information and allow it to be included in your schema to develop them. You can have difficulty with novel situations. If you have a strong schema based on a small amount of features, it might hinder your adaptation to unfamiliar features or unfamiliar scenarios. Understanding mental schemas can help freestyle kayakers and coaches in designing effective training programs and practice, improving your technique analysis, and enhancing overall performance by ensuring that athletes develop accurate and flexible mental representations of their sport. Success criteria is a detailed set of instructions that show a successful demonstration of the new knowledge. Exemplars are very similar, but for freestyle, because it's so complex, writing down all the key things that make a trick, especially when you include different styles, different features, different water levels, it would be extremely long and extremely convoluted. That's why I'm a proponent of exemplars. Exemplars are videos that serve as models of excellent execution of a skill. When you have a good exemplar, learners can study, analyze, and emulate that successful trick. This can be particularly useful in freestyle kayaking, where complex movements and techniques are involved. They can also be used for individual components of a trick as well. They can act as a visualization aid. The rules and definitions can be a bit abstract. Exemplars provide a visual reference that bridges the gap between the written descriptions that are in the appendix and the actual physical execution. It can also clarify standards. They demonstrate the expected level of performance, helping paddlers understand what judges are looking for, what will work and what will not work. They're really useful for technique breakdown. Exemplars allow for detailed analysis of body positioning, boat angle, and paddle movements. It's really useful for inspiration and motivation. Seeing high-level performances can inspire paddlers to push their own boundaries. With exemplars, you can have multiple perspectives. Different exemplars can show various styles or approaches to achieving the same move. So there are some considerations that you need to have when using exemplars. There will be individual differences. Remember that while exemplars show ideal execution, individual body types and styles will require adaptations. Avoid limitation. Just because you see an exemplar and you are matching that level of skill does not mean you cannot take the skill further or include more creativity and innovation in that skill. You need to have regularly updated exemplars. As the sport evolves, the standard for a trick being executed properly will increase. And the definitions in the appendix may change as the sport develops as well. By incorporating exemplars into freestyle kayak training and education, the sport can bridge the gap between abstract rules and actual physical execution, providing clearer pathways for skill development and performance assessment. Our last part of training that you can do while off the water and out of your boat is cross-training. As freestyle kayakers, we're always looking for ways to improve our skills and stay in top form. But what happens when the rivers freeze over, or you're miles from the nearest feature? Enter cross-training. This is your weapon for off-the-season progress and year-round fitness. So why cross-train? Cross-training isn't just about staying fit. It's about becoming a more well-rounded athlete by participating in other sports. You can maintain or even improve your fitness during the off-season. You can develop new skills that translate to freestyle kayaking. You can prevent burnout and keep your passion for paddling fresh. You can enhance your overall athletic ability. And you can reduce the risk of overuse injuries. Now, I have some top picks for sports you can do to cross-train over the winter. These are in no particular order. And we have swimming. Swimming is great. It can boost your upper body strength and your comfort in the water, as well as your aerobic capacity. Also, if you're at the swimming pool, you might be able to talk them into letting you bring your boat in for a flat water session. Now we have rock climbing. This can develop your grip strength and your problem solving skills. It can also make you much stronger in your upper body, especially in pull type exercises. You have yoga. This can enhance your flexibility, your core strength and your balance. All extremely useful for freestyle kayaking. You have skiing and snowboarding. If freestyle is a spring and summer sport, skiing and snowboarding, definitely a winter sport. It can improve your edge control and your terrain reading. It can improve your fitness and improve your overall love of the wild places we have around us. Gymnastics. This can help you master your body awareness and your control in the air. Surfing. You can hone your wave reading skills and paddle strength. Really beneficial for really understanding how water works. Mountain biking. You can build your cardiovascular fitness and your quick decision making, as well as your ability to read terrain as you go down it. And finally, we have strength training. This is where you go in the gym and target kayaking and freestyle kayaking specific muscle groups. Some of the sports I've mentioned here might raise some eyebrows. The joke goes that the biggest cause of injuries in kayakers is snowboarding and mountain biking. That's why there is a golden rule for cross-training. Don't get injured. Easy, right? It might be harder than you think. You've developed awesome body control from kayaking. You might not have the specific skills for your new sport that you're doing as cross-training, but you will be able to progress fast. Faster than most people entering that sport for the first time. This can lead you on a path of progressing faster than your freestyle kayaking specific skills will carry you. That can lead you to a place where you'll get injured. Now, I have some tips for injury prevention while you're doing all of these sports. Start slow and progress gradually. Learn proper technique. Consider getting coaching so you know how to do it safely with the correct technique. Listen to your body and rest when needed. I know it's fun, but if you push it too far, then you won't be able to do anything. Always warm up and cool down. Use the right equipment for each sport. Keep your core strong. It's your injury prevention powerhouse. Now, remember, while exploring other sports is fantastic, don't completely abandon your kayak-specific training. Ergometers and pool sessions can keep your paddling sharp when you can't hit the river. By embracing cross-training, you're not just passing time until the snow melts, you're actively building a stronger, more versatile athletic foundation. So go ahead, try that yoga class or hit the climbing gym. Your freestyle skills will thank you when you're back on the water. So, as we've explored in this comprehensive guide to out-of-the-boat practice for freestyle kayaking, there's a wealth of opportunities to enhance your skills even when you're miles from the nearest feature, from structured movements of katas to the power of visualization, from building mental schemas to studying exemplars, and finally to cross-training in complementary sports. Each of these methods offers unique benefits to the dedicated freestyle kayaker. Remember, the key to effective off-water training lies in consistency, mindfulness, and a willingness to step outside your comfort zone. All the same skills that we talked about in our on-the-water training. By incorporating these diverse training methods into your routine, you're not just maintaining your skills, you're actively expanding your kayaking toolkit, enhancing your mental game, and building a more resilient, adaptable, athletic foundation. As you apply these techniques, as always, remember that progress may not always be linear or immediately apparent. Trust in the process, stay patient, and know that mental and physical foundations you're building off the water will translate into tangible improvements when you're back in your boat. So next time there's low water levels, freezing temperatures, or life just gets in the way and keeps you from paddling, don't see it as a setback. Instead, view it as an opportunity to engage in these powerful off-the-water training methods. Your future freestyle self will thank you for your dedication and creativity you've shown in your off-the-water training. As always, I've based all of this on sports science research that I've done. I'll drop all the links I've used down in the description. But if you have anything you want to add to this topic, drop it down below and I'll have a look at it. Next week, we're going to be looking at video review and how to use this to its fullest potential. Till then, keep pushing yourself, stay safe, see you on the water, and I'll see you next time.